Morning, Chris.
What a mess.
It's all good.
Made the mistake of trying to reuse an invite. So I reused the one that we had from Thursday, and I'm not sure why it wouldn't let everybody in. You still there?
Yep, I'm here. Sometimes when you reuse links, it acts weird because I've had that issue before, and what I ended up doing was just creating new ones. Because I had that happen with my class the first time.
Wow, there's Jashina. She's going with the dark silhouette view.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so for this
Good
one,
morning.
we're gonna have everybody else on too, from Tubman University, or is
Yeah.
it just us? Okay.
Yeah, this is actually the start of the the first class that Monica was originally scheduled to do.
Okay, so now this is the Adele show.
No, it's the Chris show.
Oh, it's the Chris show. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
Unfortunately for everybody, you have to put up with me today. So let's see how many people are getting in here. Yeah. They're coming in. Okay, we got 7. Gonna add one more thing. Give everybody a chance to get in here. Sorry for the mess up this morning. Good morning, everybody. We'll give everybody just another minute to get in here.
If you're not talking, you get into
Okay, we've got 12. We got a few more coming. Give them another minute or so, and then we'll jump in here. Okay, I think we're just about ready to get going here. So let's see here. And I'll share my screen, share that slideshow. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm finally ready here. So, welcome everybody to our first session with Tubman University. I can tell you that we are very excited for the opportunity to work with you and help you learn a lot about AI and hopefully a lot about yourself as well. My name is Chris Daly, and I am a master trainer here with InnoPower. On the phone or dialed in, if you will, I have a number of folks who are here to learn, B support what you're doing. So those folks, all those folks are master trainers that I've worked with, that we've worked with over the last seems like forever, but it's only been like 6 months. And we've been going out and trying to spread the word about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the great enabler. I don't care. I don't care who you are, where you live, what you do for a living. You have AI. It's in your cell phone, right? 85%, I believe, of folks around the world have cell phones, smartphones. AI is in your smartphone. So suddenly, revolutionary technology is available, and it's available to everybody. So we're very excited about it. I have been with InnoPower. Um, I worked with InnoPower for about 4 months, and then I joined InnoPower in in July 1st of this year. InnoPower is led by Mr. Emil Ikior, and he is, I believe, here. Emil, are you here?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Would you like to say a few words?
No, I'll wait till the end, Chris. I think
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So, with that, what I would like to do is I would like to do a quick introduction. So I would like for you to just mention your name, what you do, and as well why you're interested in AI. And we'll try to make this quick. So let's start with Francis.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello,
I'm
Francis.
Francis Fukapa, Tubman University.
And what do you do at
And
the
I'm
university?
faculty. Sorry,
Okay.
Tubman University. I
Yeah.
faculty here at Tubman University.
Okay. What do you teach?
The college. I'm from the College of Agriculture and Food Science. I teach soil science.
Great. Great. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Mr. Gilbert, would you like to be up next?
Good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Gilbert, a faculty of Tubman University, and I'm in the computer science and engineering department. I'm the chairman of the department, and I teach data structures and then cyber security.
A man that speaks my language. I've been in IT for 40 years. So
That's right.
software development and the whole bit. So
That's right.
nice to meet you, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go with, I apologize, I can't see everybody's name. Techno Clark. Do you know who that is? Okay, we'll wait on that. How about Benson?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Benson Tukondane from the Tubman University. I'm the Dean for the College of Business and Administration. So I teach business-related courses, specifically finance, accounting, and business management.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. How about GW?
Hello, my name is Aaron Gabriel Woods. I work in the office of the president. I'm the executive assistant, the chief of office staff in the office of the president, Tubman University. My background is in civil engineering and petroleum engineering and research, monitoring, evaluation. I'm an adjunct professor. I sometimes fit in in the engineering college. I teach fluid mechanics and highway.
Great. That's good. I mean, I'll be interested in your perspective on how AI can be used in your space. So that's great. Let's go on to Adele. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone from Tubman. This is Adele Means. I am an AI trainer, obviously within Power. Worked with Emil and Chris. I look forward to getting to know you all more on Tuesday, which is, I believe, my class.
Yep. Thanks for that, Emil. Edward, how about you? Edward looks like he's on hold. How about Faye? Looks like a lot of them are on hold. All right. Sandra.
Yeah, we're having some technical issues inside the room. Sorry. We're trying to because the internet is just down. I'm just using my own data. So
Okay. Would it help if we turned off everybody, if we had everybody turn off their video? Let's do that. and see if that makes a difference for you.
That I gotta have 7 persons with you, right? That I gotta.
We are actually around a
Hello?
9 or 10, Doc, earlier, but
Yeah,
then
but so you can introduce yourself individually because Chris
yeah,
doesn't
but
have that.
okay. Maybe I can. Are you on already? So you've
I'm
introduced
on
yourself.
right now. So yeah, so just let the 7 person introduce 9 person introduce themselves to the
Okay,
Chris.
you can start introducing yourself. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead, and as we have an opportunity over the next 6 days, we'll come back to and have everybody introduce themselves when the bandwidth is a little better. Can everybody see my screen that says Understanding Artificial Intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do today is this is the agenda I'm going to use. So we've done the introductions. I'm going to talk about the course agenda a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to jump into introducing AI. Then I will take you through and introduce InnoPower.ai to you. And then we'll talk about the capstone project as well as your homework. Okay. So with that, let's talk about the agenda. So this is the agenda that we're going to have over the next 6 sessions, counting this one. The first session is Understanding AI Basics. That is being led by me. Monica, unfortunately, couldn't make it. The next session will be led by Adele, who is on the line here, and he's going to talk about large language models and what they are and how they work. And then Lavreen and Cecine are going to talk about basics for prompt engineering, the things you need to do, how do you use it, what are some of the capabilities with it. Jay and Joy are going to get into ethical considerations in AI. This session 4 is usually the most spirited and the one that people want typically really pay attention to because we're talking about copyrights. We're going to talk about plagiarism. We're going to talk about patents a little bit. We're going to talk about the ethics behind AI. What should you do? What shouldn't you do? That typically is for businesses and educators. That seems to be one of the hot buttons. Now I've run into teachers and educators who are on both sides of the fence, right? Or both sides of the fence. They can be on one side or the other. And when they talk, they either hate it and they think it's going to be the end of society as we know it, or they love it and they see what a great learning tool it is. So that always leads to a spirited conversation. Session 5 is going to be creativity and prompts. So our wonderful Shanika is going to talk about how you can use prompts in a number of different ways. Just a few introductions that we had so far. I'm excited about the fact that there's a diversity in terms of backgrounds, where you come from, whether it's civil engineering, software development, business, humanities, whatever, sciences, any of the sciences. How you use AI can be adapted to just about everything you do. And so that one is always very interesting because it seems like with that one, the light bulb really goes on for a lot of folks. And then the last one is, how do you adapt prompts for different audiences? I have been working all summer with 4th to 7th graders here in the US, about 10 to 14, right? Which is quite an interesting age bracket to have kids. I've been working with them in AI. How do you write AI or how do you do prompts to address them? How do you do it for a college student? How do you do it for a doctoral student? How do you do it for somebody that maybe is brand new to digital literacy and doesn't really understand? So that Jashina and Tracy will cover that for you. All of the folks that you'll be seeing from our side are all master trainers. They've all gone through 24 hours of prompt engineering training and another 24 hours of facilitation. So they have been, and they've also all gone out and taught their own classes. In some cases, they've taught 2 or 3 already. So so they're very sorry about that. So they're experienced in what they're doing, and they're just a great group of people. I've really enjoyed working with them. I like to tell people that it's really about me just giving them a little bit of information, introducing a little bit of technology, and then getting the heck out of the way and watch them go, because it's amazing what people can do once they start understanding that it's not just I'm going to create an email and copy and paste it. When they start understanding the depth of AI and what they can do with it, it's amazing how people can use it. Any questions so far?
No, we can
No?
go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
So what I'm going to jump into now is understanding artificial intelligence. There are a lot of things going on in the world right now, as we all know, and specifically around artificial intelligence. There's a lot of people who are saying that they have artificial intelligence built into their products. Whether it is their stove, their refrigerator, their pen, whatever it might be. Everybody now is saying, I've got artificial intelligence built into my products. And what I found is that in reality, that's not necessarily true. So I think it's worth and I know we've got a variety of experience. We got people who are moderately familiar with AI, and we've got some people that are learners, brand new, beginners, and we've got a couple people that are experts. And so let's just set the baseline here, right? So AI is computer systems that the goal is they want to emulate the human brain. Right? They want to be able to try to emulate the human brain. And a lot of people will say, will use it for a variety of things. Some of them include visual perception, right? So what is that? That's being able to upload a picture and have the picture be analyzed by a computer and tell you what it is, right? And pull text from it, right? Oh, optical character recognition on steroids. They want speech recognition. One of the things that we're going to do that you'll see out of this class is that I've recorded this, and as well, I've set it up so that there is a summary that's automatically generated. That summary is speech recognition. It's taking my voice and it's going to put it into text, and then summarize it. And I'm going to have a document that I'm going to be able to share that if you missed the class or if you're late, whatever, you can actually go back and just read the summary. You'll also get access to the video as well. If you want to go back and watch the whole thing, you're certainly welcome to do that. AI also includes decision making. We take approach here at InnoPower of human-centered AI. And what that means is there's always a human plugged in. It's not AI making decisions on its own. We want the human involved. There's a number of reasons why. One of them is we don't trust it right now. I don't trust it. I don't trust AI. I don't trust that they've got it perfect yet. And two, we want to make sure that you have confidence in it and it's making the right decisions. You're going to find that as you get into this, that sometimes it makes it gives you bad output, right? It gives you the wrong answer, or it doesn't understand what you say. And if you're not engaged in it and you're not into it, then there's no way that you can stop it, right? It'll just keep going. Language translation. So this one is particularly interesting to me because language translation, I have tools that I use right now to help me generate videos using AI. I don't speak French. I don't speak German. I speak English, a US based English, right? And it is, how do you take what I'm doing and how do I take it and make it available to those that might speak French or might speak Spanish? You know, this gives us a tool that we can go in, and I literally can produce now the same video 15 times and have it be 15 different languages without having to hire a voiceover, without having to hire a translator. That's pretty cool in my mind. That's pretty interesting, right? It opens up a lot of possibilities in terms of, from me as a teacher or a facilitator, suddenly I can reach more people and they can understand me in a better way. So as we go forward and as you go forward, you'll be able to talk to different people in their natural language, as opposed to the way we do it today, the way I do it today, where I force everybody to speak English, right? Because that's all I can speak. So this language translation is really powerful. It includes some other things like coding, software development. You're going to hear a term called vibe coding, which is a buzzword. But it essentially is where you sit down and you say, I want a website that does this and this and this, and it makes one for you, right? You don't have to click and drag and drop. You literally can talk to it, talk to the AI engine, and it will generate your website for you, or to generate the app for you. Suddenly, you don't have to go to a 4-year school to get a computer software development degree to go be a programmer. You can learn, you can use this tool to do that. So it's very powerful from that standpoint. We'll touch on it a little bit. You'll also be able to teach it. So you'll be able to teach AI and narrow the focus in such a way that it can look only at your material. The internet, all the LLMs so far have been based off of the internet, right? And we all know what's out on the internet. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and there's a lot of bad stuff out there, right? And so what we do is, when we're building LLMs, is we take all that information, synthesize it and analyze it and look for patterns and train our models. And if we're training it on crap, bad stuff, right? Wrong stuff, then it's going to be bad. And so we want to be able to narrow the focus. And so we'll teach you how to be able to do that. Specifically, we're talking, if you've got procedures or you've got curriculum or guidelines that you have to follow, whether they're national guidelines, state guidelines, maybe it's Tubman University guidelines. We can build GPTs, we can build AI models that focus specifically on that and ignore all the other stuff. So that's pretty powerful stuff, I think. Any questions still? No? Okay, I'll keep going. So the different types of intelligence, I break it down into 3. We've got human intelligence, which is us, right? It's each one of you. We have our unique ability to learn, and we have our own tendencies, our own things we want to go do. We want to learn. I love the tech stuff, so I'm always into technology things, playing around. My wife is into arts, right? She loves to go in and do arts and loves to do gardening. We're different in that aspect, but yet we're both able to learn. We're both able to adapt and create new ideas and see new things. Traditional computing is more rules-based. And to explain it, it's very much like a if then else type approach, right? If this occurs, then that happens. Add 3 plus 4 and give me 7, right? Very structured, very, very, like I said, very if then else based. We've taken it and tried to make it with layers on top of it to make it appear to be more flexible. But at the end of the day, when you get down to the bottom line, it's still a series of rules. Okay. Machine learning, or I'm sorry, AI is really machines performing traditional thinking, traditional tasks that humans would have to come up with. If you think about it, writing an email to tell your supervisor that you're going to take another job, right? We could all do that. That might take us a while. If I'm upset and if I'm upset and I'm quitting in protest, but I don't want to say that, I don't want to let them know, I can say, please write an email that for my resignation from InnoPower, but make it the tone of the email cordial. And it will do it, even though I'm ticked off, right? It will still do that. So we want to be able to develop AI, and we want to embrace it and use it. But at the same time, there's a lot of caution about that. There's a lot of fear out there about AI. What's it going to do to us? Are we going to get to the point where the machines take over? They don't need us anymore? Or are we going to be able to use it as a tool that comes alongside us, a tool that enables us to go do other things, right? Do more powerful things and not do the mundane stuff that we all hate doing and that we have to do almost every single day. So AI is really that. It's really about trying to get the machines to think like we do. Machines can't have emotions yet. They can simulate emotions eventually. They'll be able to do that, but they don't have emotions. They don't have empathy. They don't understand how people feel. So that's a big difference between a human intelligence and artificial intelligence. Let me check the chat and see if there's anything in there. Nope, not yet. Okay. So I'll keep plugging along. So how do we get human intelligence? That's always a good question. And I'm going to use an example from my life that I think everybody will be able to relate to. My daughter just had my second granddaughter. When she's first born, she's not able to do anything, right? She's not able to, all she knows how to do is to eat and breathe, and go to the restroom. That's it. That's all she knows how to do, right? And as she gains experience, as she grows, as she matures, she learns from experiences. My older granddaughter, who's 2.5, can, thank you, Amateo. I didn't want to say it, but thank you. My older granddaughter, she can walk, talk, gets her food, loves to watch SpongeBob, loves to go out and ride in her pram, her little baby carriage, right? We talk to her every day on the phone. She learns from experience. And now fast forward to 20 years from now, what's she going to do? She's going to have all these experiences that she's learned from. She's going to have to learn how to adapt, learn how to, when certain things come up, she's going to learn what works and what doesn't work for her. And over time, she's going to get to the point where she can start thinking abstractly. She can start thinking about, well, if I do this, this is what's going to happen to me, right? And so, or this is what's going to happen. And so human intelligence is capable of that. And that's that's how we learn, and it's how we grow as people. Traditional computing, as I've said, is binary logic. It's if then else. At the heart of a computer is still a 1 or a 0. A computer can do predefined tasks. When I see this, when I see the email come in, do this. It can do that, and you tell it exactly what you want it to do. But that's all it's capable of doing. It can predict, but those predictions are, again, at the end of the day, a series of 1s and 0s with if then else logic built on top of it, right? And so that's what traditional computing is, and that's what we all have been experiencing. When we get to artificial intelligence is somewhat like a human in that it learns from data. We learn from experiences, but the machine doesn't have experiences. The computer doesn't have experiences, so it learns from the data. So as it learns, it starts taking in larger and larger data sets. Now, a computer doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, it doesn't watch TV, it just sits there. And so it can work 24/7 doing nothing but learning. And it can go, it never gets tired. So it doesn't need a vacation, it doesn't need a break. And so it can learn from large data sets, take massive amounts of information and boil it down into patterns that it uses to be able to guess or predict what it is you're asking. It can also do autonomous decisions. It can go through and make decisions based on algorithms that we feed it, right? We have to tell it what the algorithms are. If you think about a self-driving car is a really good example of AI, right? You're driving down the road, it's got sensors around the car, it's got cameras, it can drive down the road. And it can do that with you sitting there as a human and watching. There are lots of other examples of making autonomous decisions. You could have a robot that does surgery, that goes through and does the surgery and actually helps people. It's making little decisions as it goes, as it's doing the surgery. Some people get a little squeamish with that. It's like, I prefer to have a doctor, but when they're too finely tuned, the AI surgeon won't make as many mistakes as the human surgeon, right? It'll be consistent. Again, never gets tired, right? It doesn't have to take a break. It works 24/7. So those kind of autonomous decisions are where we really start seeing the opportunity with AI. Now, the downside with autonomous decisions is, what if it starts making decisions we don't want it to make? Like, what if it starts making decisions about your health that you don't necessarily want it to make? That could be a problem. It could start making decisions about, for example, going with the car. What happens if the computer in the car and the AI in the car decides that it's going to turn left and drive into the river or drive into the ocean? What happens then, right? So there's a good and a bad to AI. And as we go forward, we're going to have to pay attention to that. We're going to have to look at that. We're going to have to consider that. My teammates from InnoPower, is there anything you want to add at this point? No? Okay, I'll keep going. Where are we at? We're at 10:53. Okay, so what is the evolution of AI? Where did it come from? I've given you a snippet here of where it's come from, right? And I'm dating myself here, but when I started out working, you had typewriters. I mean, you see typewriters in movies today, right? But That was how I actually learned how to program computers. Was I had a typewriter, and you had to be able to type. You had to know. You had to be able to do it quickly. And so it's evolved from there. If we go back even further than that, if we go to Alan Turing's machine that broke the German code for in World War II, right? That was a form of a computer, rule-based computer, did a number of different things. But again, that's kind of where we've started. They came up with the term artificial intelligence in 1957, when several people got together at a conference and were talking about what they were doing with computers, and they came up with that term artificial intelligence. And since they've come up with that term, it's been everywhere, right? We see it in movies, you see it in TV shows, you see it in comic books, you see it in novels, you see it everywhere. And it's always this thing that is either good or bad. It's polar, it's very polar. Over time, what's happened is that we've had things come up, like we've developed basic word processing, spreadsheets, spell checking, being able to have it check your grammar. All those things are fantastic, right? They've all been incremental things that come along that have helped us. And we've embraced those as they've come. If you going back to me, when I graduated from high school and started college or went to university, the world has changed dramatically since then. It's evolved as we've gone. What makes things really different is that in the early 2020s, generative AI started to pick up. Generative AI is where you can ask it a question and it can answer back to you. It starts talking in a human form. It can talk via voice today, or it can also talk via just text, responding back to you like a chat. And when that happened, suddenly it made it open. It opened it up to everybody. It opened it up to the world. Prior to that, there were special places where you could go and they were doing AI research. You could go to Stanford University in the US or MIT. There are a number of other places around the world that have been exploring it. But you had to be very select, and there were only certain people that had access to it. When we got generative AI, all of a sudden, non-techies and people that don't have any technical background can suddenly start using AI. How powerful is that? I taught a class a year ago this past spring where I taught an 80-year-old lady how to write a book using AI. She wrote a cookbook for her. She has great-great-grandchildren. For her great-great-grandchildren, she wrote a book that was a cookbook of her recipes. If she had tried to do, and she'd always dreamed about doing it, but she was able to use AI to do it and fill in the gaps for the things that she knew. It's incredible what we can go do with that. And since I've taught her in that class a year and a half ago, it's continued to accelerate. I mean, today you can generate videos. I can generate a video of myself talking without me even being there and do it in about 15 minutes, right? Very powerful. Now, yes, you can kind of tell it's AI and you can kind of tell it's not me, but it's very powerful from the standpoint that you can now do that and create videos for your classes where you don't have to record, right? You don't have to record your full self. You don't have to do a voiceover. So one sentence changes, something changes right after you produce a video, and you've got to go back, we'd have to go back and re-record it or dub it over. Now we don't have to do that. We just simply go in, change the script, and click generate, and it can generate it. You can generate images today. I've used the example of the 10-year-olds to the 14-year-olds. I had 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds developing coloring books on their summer experiences. Excuse me. Let me say that again. A 10-year-old is developing and creating coloring books based on their experiences at camp that summer. I've had 15-year-olds generating Stop the Gun Violence posters using AI that did not have art skills, but had a good eye, right? Suddenly, the technology is available where people can use it. And that's why I'm glad you're in this class. This is going to be an opportunity for you to jump ahead of about 98% of the world. Okay. So I've talked about generative AI, right? It's a subset of deep learning, and it allows you to be able to generate original content. You can generate text, images, audio, videos now. You can create just about anything. You can take your face and put yourself in a Viking outfit, right? In a Viking setting. You can put yourself in a superhero costume if you want to. It's just incredible what we can do. Generative AI itself learns from large data sets. We call those large language models. Those large language models are huge amounts of data. They go out and they scrape the internet, and they take, if it's a company that's got access to their content, they'll take their content and they'll go in and they'll teach AI, teach the models on how to be able to produce what they've got. And so it's a very powerful way for us to be able to scale and to learn. Machine learning is where you use a set of algorithms to go in and do pattern matching. We're all pattern matchers, right? That's what we do. When you look at my screen and you see machine learning, you're looking at the word and you're saying that, it means machine or it means learning. That it's just a series of dots. It's just a series of lines that really don't mean anything. It means, but yet it's tied to something. It's tied to the concept of a machine. When you look at other languages like Japanese, Chinese, Thai, where they've got different letters, they've got different ways of their language. Again, they've got a symbol that means machine, right? And that's all it is. It's it's just a series of lines. And so we use AI, we use those algorithms to go through and identify that an M is an M, right? We tie the thought of the sound of M to the lines we see that are an M. And so machine learning does that on a bigger scale. It goes through and look at patterns. It goes through and looks at and tries to identify them. I'm looking at I think it's HP on their screen, has a neon light in the background that says club, right? If we took that image straight off of Zoom, yeah, I'm talking about you. If we took that image and we put it into AI, it would be able to figure out that says club because it's looking at the pattern. It's looking at the combination of the pixels. Okay. And to learn what that is, we use machine learning to do that. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. And it was inspired by neural networks. Every one of you has a neural network, right? It's your brain, right? It's a series of connections that electrical signals, if you will, that fire that trigger memories for you, right? They trigger memories for you. And so that's what we do. That's what we use deep learning for, is we use those neural network, the concept of that neural network, to be able to go and look at different things in terms of layers, right? So we go through and we look at, we recognize, again, looking at the Digital Center Club, Tubman University neon sign, we can go in, we can train it to go in and look at that and see the yellow, right, that's behind them, to see the red that's behind them, to see the white that is on the wall, to notice the difference of the light and be able to identify that as it goes forward. So now I'm going to talk about something called narrow AI. Narrow AI is different than AI. Narrow AI it's AI specialized in performing certain tasks. For example, I mentioned having a robotic surgeon, right? A robot surgeon that would come in and do surgery. It doesn't need to know all the stuff about across the internet. It only needs to know the AI around the AI domain around surgery and healthcare, right? It doesn't need to know everything else. So when we talk about narrow AI, we're talking about narrowing that focus down to smaller and smaller, so that the machine, the AI, can focus on that content, and we can control that content in terms of what it is, so that when the AI looks at it, it's going to use it. And in the example I listed here, language translation apps are going to be different. They're going to have, they're going to focus, they're going to narrow their AI. They don't care about generating images. They only care about the translation from English to French to Portuguese. That's all they really care about. So we have them we narrow that focus. That makes them more efficient. It eliminates the noise, right? It eliminates all the other stuff that's out there and allows the AI to focus on the content that we're making available to it. Natural language processing. In my mind, this is a game changer. Why was it a game changer? It's a game changer because we can now talk to the computer in the language we're used to. As a software developer, as a IT person, I always had to talk to the computer in its language, right? We always had to talk in terms of bits and bytes, and we had to talk about in terms of languages that it understood, that could get translated down for it. We had to understand the various concepts and the term and how best to feed the information in. We had to manipulate the data a lot of times to get the data in a format that the machine could understand. Natural language processing allows us to step away from that. We can talk to it. You can have a verbal or written conversation with AI and have it do things for you. If you think about it from the standpoint of a lot of smartphones today, you can talk to your smartphone and say, call Sandra. I could say, call Sandra, and it might call. If I have Sandra in my contact list, it will call her, right? Used to be, we had to remember Sandra's number. We had to remember her name and her number and have those two tied together, or we had to have it written down somewhere. We don't have to do that anymore, right? We can just say, call Sandra while we're driving a car or while we're out riding a bike or walking. We can have it do that. We can say, send a text. We can say, text Emil, and it can text. It takes what I say next and it writes a text and then sends it via a message or WhatsApp to Emil, right? And so it gives us the ability that we can now communicate with computers in our language. It opens it up away from me, the software guy, the tech geek. It takes me out of the picture and allows other people who may not be technical, my mother, who's 87 years old, to be able to sit down and use AI, right? And it opens up a whole world for them. We can talk to, I talked about 10 to 14-year-olds. They don't understand computers, but boy, they can talk to it, right? They can type, or they can talk to it verbally, and they can get things done. People that might have restrictions in terms of their capabilities. Maybe they don't have the use of their arms. They can talk to the computer, and it can synthesize their voice, take it, turn it into text, go out, get the answer, and bring it back, or get the response and bring it back. It's very powerful to be able to do that. You can use it to, with natural language processing. It can now read documents and suddenly start understanding, saying what those documents are. I can upload a variety of things. We've had folks upload grant proposals that are, huge number of pages, and be able to take those and say, okay, now that I've uploaded it, what are the requirements for this grant? And it'll go, it'll spit it out. Who should qualify for this? It'll spit it out. They're asking it in English rather than spending days trying to sort through these complex documents. Now you can simply ask a question. Imagine being able to sit down and just simply ask a question at the computer and get a response about how do you file, for a license to be an entrepreneur in Liberia. How do you do that? Today, you can literally make it so that just about anybody can do it. You can use it to draft legal contracts, right? I want a license agreement for my new website for people to sign, or for the subscription. In the past, you'd have to go to an attorney, and he'd spend lots of time creating a document for you, and you'd go through and review it, and then you'd have changes and be back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right? And most of it's boilerplate anyway. So now you have the ability that you can put in what you want and have it generate those documents ahead of time for you. You could put in something you've had from years ago and have it go through and do the analysis for you and tell you what's applicable and what's not. Blog readers, summary documents. There's all kinds of opportunities with natural language processing. And the mind is the only thing that gets in the way. What do you want to do with it today? Do you want to upload a spreadsheet? Do you want to go through and do you want to take an email and have it summarize an email for you? I took the spreadsheet, y'all went through and filled out the pre-assessment survey, right? You gave us your name, your email address. You told us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what your degrees are, what your educational background is, what you teach, how familiar you are with AI. I literally took that spreadsheet and put it in Chat GPT, and it gave me a summary document, and it took me about 2 minutes to do that. How many PhDs do we have? How many people are familiar with AI? How many of them are using it quite frequently? How many are not? It was able to tell me how many males versus females, all without me having to sit there and go through and create these calculations in a spreadsheet. I just simply uploaded it. Now imagine taking a massive document and uploading it and being able to get out of it a summary that tells you what you need to do or explains a concept to you. We can even do that with websites, right? Government websites today that are so complex, sometimes you can't understand them. We can create a chatbot to do that and allow people to go through and understand what they're getting into. We've created an InnoPower chatbot that we're going to use. We've also created one for BizPass Indy, which are two different concepts that InnoPower has. We're creating chatbots for them so that somebody can just sit down at the computer and say, tell me about InnoPower, and it'll tell them about InnoPower. They don't have to go hunting and searching for it. So it's very powerful. I'm going to stop a second, take a drink, see if anybody's got any questions. Anything any of my teammates from InnoPower want to add?
Chris, the question I have as the students and faculty at Tubman listen to the conversation is and I know they sent the assessment. A lot of them actually using AI. Um, are they using AI for the day-to-day schoolwork? Are they using AI just as in leisure? Are they using AI in some of the ways that you've just explained? Um, now that they've heard you kind of explain some things as far as where AI has been and what people are using AI for, just curious to know as they listen, are they using it in the manner that you've talked about, or have they just used it just for leisure?
Let's ask them that question.
And I just want to also encourage the people, the students and faculty at Tubman that the best way that we've seen for this class to work, if it's interactive, right? If there's dialogue, instead of one person talking, it's always good to have questions to create dialogue. So that way, both sides are learning from each other as we go. So I know sometimes with students, is listen to the faculty, especially with us Africans. But in this case, I think it's good to be able to ask questions and have dialogue as this sessions are going. So please feel free to ask questions and answer the question that we just asked, please.
Abraham has his hand up.
So basically, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone. Basically, I use AI for summarizing of complex documents that would take me days to read. So I normally issue a prompt, summarize this document, considering all key points. Then I now use that as a study guide. And I also use AI to generate my PowerPoint presentation for lectures. It makes it easy and it does a lot of work in very short space of time.
That's great. Are you when you say you're using it to generate your slides, how are you, is it generating the text for you and then you're copy and pasting, or?
Can you please come again?
Are you using, so when you generate your slides using AI, is it actually generating the slides or is it just generating the text that you put in the slides?
Just the slides. I input the text and it generates the slides.
Perfect. Great. That's good.
So the question is, Professor, thank you for that. So do you see AI and having access to AI as an opportunity in countries like Liberia to accelerate progress? Meaning that you are using it, but do you encourage the students to use it as well? Or I know here in the US, a lot of educators are worried about students using it because they feel like the students will not be learning the way they used to learn. What are your thoughts as far as AI and then being able to leverage it in Liberia in the university setting and with students?
I think I share the idea of professors in the US that have I believe if students will use AI, it should be in a controlled environment where what they are doing is monitored, because leaving it open, it breeds lazy students who are not ready to think. That is just my perception about students using AI.
No, thank you so much for that. It would be great to have a student share their perception or their thoughts about what the professor said or what we're saying as far as what does it look like with AI now? It's only going to reach more people as far as adaptation. How do you as a student feel like you should be using AI, or should you be using it while you're at university right now?
Francis, you can go ahead.
Fuka hands up. Professor
Yeah,
Fuka.
thank you for the opportunity. I had one notable experience with AI. That was with a mathematical question. And AI could make a mistake. The way the question was answered and the answer it got, I struggled and I reworked and reworked. And that was something I actually knew, but AI gave me something else. So I'm there sitting and asking myself, this should be easy. Why is this way? And I questioned the program. Why is the answer this way when I have given this, X, Y, Z? And to my utmost surprise, it said, I'm very sorry, but the answer should be this, as you suggested, you are correct. And it worked it exactly the way it should have been. That was a very interesting experience for me. What that taught me was AI is good, but you must understand what it is bringing out. Otherwise, you are just going to run with everything. Another experience is using AI for references. If you ask AI to give you references to materials that you have written, sometimes the machine brings examples of the ways the references should be cited in the text, and it generates names that are not real. So if you don't have the thought of going to counter check what you have been given, you are just going to cite names that actually don't exist. Now, to answer the question or contribute to the role of AI and in the lives of students, if that is the question, is correct. I think AI is good, but especially in Africa, we should be careful how to push our students into using AI. The foundation must be built. There is no secret that we are struggling when it comes to building the foundation of our students because of the lack of fundings when it comes to high schools or elementary schools. Laboratories are not well equipped. Teachers are not, high school teachers are not well paid. So the quality of learning versus what you have in other countries is very, very different. So our students struggle. So just bringing AI, yes, from wherever, and then giving it to our students without them having that ability to think first for themselves would not, in my opinion, be a good thing. So as my colleague said, they have to be guided. Otherwise, they will try to walk before they crawl. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Professor. And just to repeat what you said, as far as making sure students have some kind of foundation of critical thinking and understanding before you introduce them to AI, where everything that they understand and think about comes from the machine or the AI, and not because they have learned something in the past. To be able to discern, is what the machine giving me the right thing, or am I learning the right thing because I have some kind of foundation to reflect upon? So, but the other side of AI and the other side of the world we live in, because of the rapid pace AI is going on, and the fact that most of the developing world is using it at a rapid pace as well, how do you prepare young Africans to compete globally if the rest of the world is using artificial intelligence for and getting unbelievable outputs? But if our young people are not exposed to it, how do they compete in a global world if they don't have access to the similar tools that everybody else is using, all the developing countries are using?
I think that's a great point that you're making, Emil. I think, and then I also understand where the professors are coming from as well. So it seems as if, you know, in the way that I'm thinking about it, we want to expose the kids to AI, but we want to also make sure that we're bringing on a spirit of discernment at the same time too. Don't trust it, question it. That's going to help with the critical thinking. If you can question it and use other information and use, you know, teachers and professors as resources to ask for help while you're interacting with the AI could also help implement some of that critical thinking that's needed, because we don't want our kids to not use it and then get left behind, because AI is evolving and it's evolving rather quickly. And so it seems as if everybody needs to start using, but maybe we need to emphasize additional skills, the skills of questioning, critical thinking, asking questions, having a team around us so that we can, you know, verify. Because I think, Fuka, you made a great point. That's exactly what every AI student should have, is that ability to question it and say, wait, that's not right. That's wrong. I think we need to question that. And I think that that's the skill we want to teach everybody. Fuka, I think that was a great example. That I think sometimes we look at the tool of AI and we think that it's going to be easy, but it really does demand us to employ our critical thinking and creative skills to really take advantage of the tool. Thank you for letting me share. But Chris, I saw that you had Chris Gilbert, you have a question, and then HP, you look like you wanted to say something too. So I didn't want to.
I want to say something. I want to say
Okay.
something too.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Thanks, Tracy and Fuka and Emil. I was in a conference a few months ago in Qatar, and we were talking about AI. AI, first of all, is here to stay. Period. It's not going anywhere. But what is important, Fuka, that we need to pay attention to is what our student prompting. I want to see the prompt. The prompt is very important. So the president of Southern New Hampshire University, he said he's an English professor, and all he's looking for when he tests his student is what are they prompting, what kind of question they're asking. That will show the intelligence of our students. And as we talk about creativity and the use of AI, I think the aspect of prompting is very, very important. Now that's why I'm very, very excited about this whole training, about what are we prompting AI to do for us, because it's garbage in, garbage out. I just want to insert that.
And Doc, thank you so much. And I'll be quiet, let someone else. So you basically just said is the basic foundation of AI and the basic skills needed. If you don't know how to prompt to be able to get the information desired. So what the professor talked about earlier, Fuka talked about earlier, was they were doing work on the AI and the AI was given the wrong output, even though they knew the work. So the basic foundation of prompt engineering is to be able to prompt, for example, to tell the AI, do not hallucinate. Cite all of your sources, right? And once you understand prompt, I think Chris went over this, to be able to review your work or your outputs consistently, so you make sure that you have factual information. If you don't understand how to prompt and you don't understand the basic initial principles, we feel like prompt engineering is a foundational skill before you move to automation, before you move to agents, before you move to fully using AI. So it's almost like digital literacy, but prompt is the basic skills to have so you can give the instructions to the AI to get the correct output. So I just wanted to say that based on what you just said, Doc, you're 100% right. And I think that's what we all talked about months ago, was starting with the initial just basic principles and skills of prompt engineering. So once you have that down, you know how to give the instructions to the AI so you get the desired output that you want. I think there was another question from other people, sorry.
Go ahead, Chris Gilbert.
Okay. Thank you so very much, everyone, for this opportunity. Mine is actually not a question, but it was just a light input based on what is on the ground. Years back, when I was doing my undergraduate, we studied a course called numerical analysis. So a question could be given, and I remember there was an assignment that was given, and we had to use 3 days to be able to solve a problem that required 76 sheets, a mathematical problem. So I remember my group, we got to somewhere around the 50th sheet, and we realized that the input on the 7th sheet, we made a mistake. So we had to, destroy all those papers, got another set, and it was really, heartbreaking. It was tedious. Then when, generative AI began, and, all these, chat box came in and mathematical model came in, I tried to use one of the models to solve that particular problem we solved years back. That took us about 7 days to be able to solve the problem. And, within a space of 10 minutes, it was able to generate, that particular questions with the same, procedure and the answers. And that was very impressive, very, very impressive. Now, however, just like has been discussed earlier on, most of times the AI systems gives us wrong answers, everything wrong. But it boils down to what my president said, prompt engineering. And I realized that the same AI system that gave the wrong answer, I went back, gave it another prompt, asked it, guided it, revisited my prompt, and it brought, the right answer. So it means the concept of human-computer interaction is something that maybe institutions, especially we in Africa and Tubman University, has to look at. How do we blend the AI system and our own systems so that we will be able to get, a better, chunk of the benefit of AI? Because the truth of the matter is that whether we will use it or not, the world is going ahead using AI, and people are making, waves out there. So we don't also want to be left behind. However, AI deliberately makes mistakes, which of course we will have to incorporate that even as a teacher in the classroom, which possibly means that I don't discourage my student, but I encourage them on, the AI, how to use AI, but, with, attention paid to the prompting, which is very, very important. AI has come to stay, like Mr. President said, and I believe that You know, as my colleague teaches on this platform, I think we need to find a way, maybe as an institution, if there will be a clear policy on, you know, the percentage of AI that will, you know, be used in the classroom, I believe it will help us at the long run. But to discourage the use, I think that that will not help us. That wouldn't help us. I mean, that's my thinking. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, one of the things, Chris, before you leave, one of the things that I really like what our professor Trina Chris is doing in his curriculum is the aspect of ethics, how we use it, and so forth. And believe you or me, I am paying close attention to him because we need to develop a policy as it relates to AI. We cannot diverge from that. So, I mean, the curriculum that he outlined for our training include policy, ethics, and ways that we proceed. So
Yes.
that is very important for us
Yes.
as we move forward. I think your comments are very, very powerful. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Can I make a quick comment, Chris?
And then
Sure, go
Nima
ahead.
after that, because her hand's been raised.
Okay. Nima, you can go. You can go first. Go ahead.
So, thank you so much. I'm Nema Ehal, student of the William V.S. Tubman University. Let me appreciate the organizer for this training. Actually, there are some questions that have been in my mind and no one to answer it for AI. So when I saw the email concerning AI training, I was impressed. I normally use AI on a daily basis for my notes because there are some notes like the instructor will go and present and the student will not get that understanding, but once they post that note on AI and telling AI to summarize and make them understand, AI will be able to do it. But a time back, I had a transaction on accounting. And the transaction said I will purchase inventory for cash. And what I had was inventory increase and cash decrease. But when I posted that transaction, it brought cash increase and inventory decrease. So I was a little bit confused on that. But actually, AI is very good.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Nima. I think it sounds like most of the classes already started using AI to some degree, and learning. I think it was Francis had kind of spoke on, some of the things that he's run into through trial and error. I think some of the most exciting parts of the curriculum, rather they as Tubman University moves forward with these sessions, ethics and bias, that aspect is phenomenal because I think that really shows you how long, gives you a better feel for how long AI has been around and where it is to this point, and why it's important for different culture, ethnicity, age, gender to be in the room when developing your AI program. I think prompting structures, I mean, obviously that's what we're talking about now, is a phenomenal piece as well. But I think what also happens is you'll be flooded with the word AI coming out in so many different programs that people are trying to sell to you, either to you personally or the business or the school. But by taking the steps that you're taking now, and I applaud all of you, you'll be able to have additional discernment on, okay, is this really worth my investment? Is this Is this worth my time, worth my attention? Because it is a fight for attention as we move further and AI gets a little bit more intelligent. That's all.
Thanks, Adele. That's profound.
Looks like Mateo's has her hand up.
Yes, Mateo.
Hi, everyone. I'm honestly very excited to be here, and I'm excited for all of you. I know we're going to be having some very interesting conversations, but quickly, I would also like to say that as we proceed on this journey, and I know Chris, Adele, and everyone has said quite a number of profound things, including Emil and members of the Tubman University. But I did hear things around hallucination, bias. But one of the things I like to say is that for prompts, a lot of us have, or at least people in the learning environment, we seem to have access to some of these things, to a lot of things actually, a lot of tools and all. But I also like to say that prompts really it's about asking better questions. So as we proceed on this journey together, I just want to encourage us to think about it that way. Let's not think about the technicalities. Let's just look at it from the perspective of, well, this is going to help me hone in on my questioning skills, my critical analysis going forward. And for those that are, a little bit skeptical, I hear you, and we all hear you. But I am sure that the team is going to address all of your concerns. Also have it at the back of your mind that when you go into personalization of all of these generative AI tools, it will address some of your concerns around hallucination, bias, wrong questions, being able to ask questions and get the right output. Addressing our policy issues, designing our policies, whether for us as individuals or as members of the Tubman University community. On the last note, one of the things I like to say when it comes to AI policy is sometimes we are not invited to be at the table. So in that case, take your chairs to the table. If you are not able to get into the room, let's start the conversation and create our own rooms, okay? So as we proceed on this journey, let's just, I'm really excited with the possibilities of what we come up with. But even as you think about the pros and the cons, let's just have an open mind. I'm encouraging us to have an open mind, have fun. Chris and the team will take care of us and take care of our concerns. And we'll be here to support you, okay? Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your concerns. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Mateo. Okay, let's see where I'm at. So we were talking about NLP, natural language processing. We've got 18 minutes left. And so I'm going to go. I've got a few more things to talk about, and then we'll talk about your homework. So this is one of Emil's favorite topics, tokens. So I wanted to talk about tokens because we talk about natural language processing, right? And when we talk about tokens are really the cache. I think of them as the cache of AI, right? How much do I get for what I'm spending? So it's a way of limiting how, the capacity of what we're asking. And you'll hear the term occasionally, tokens, right? And a token typically is 1 to 4 words. Sometimes it's partial, right? It might be half of a word, it might be more. When we talk about that, we talk about 64K of context. So imagine imagine sitting at a blank, at a clean desk. There's nothing on it. And you start working. So you pick up a piece of paper and you look at it and you put it over here and you just start working all day, right? And as you're doing your work, you're putting your work on the desk. eventually you're going to run out of room, right? And so when you run out of room and you force one more piece of paper on there, another piece of paper gets covered up and falls off. That's what we have. That's what we're limited by when we talk about large language models. They have a desktop, and it varies by size, but they have essentially a desktop that you have that you put things on. And the instead of using pages, they use the term tokens, which represent words. And it's important you understand that, because when we talk about, you might hear the term hallucination from time to time, where AI will make things up. I believe Dr. Gilbert brought that up, right? Professor Gilbert brought that up. Sometimes it makes things up. Well, what do you do when it makes things up? Why does it make things up? It makes things up because it runs out of room, right? And it's looking at the desktop and it's saying, well, here's what I've got to work with. And so I'm going to use whatever's on this desktop. It doesn't know that it's shoved off some critical pieces of information, that it's dropped them, because it's only got a desktop so big. So when you hear people talk about hallucinations and you hear people talk about it making stuff up, a lot of times that's what's going on, is that you're going and your context, your desktop is full of stuff and something is rolled off. The other way you might find it hallucinate, and we're going to spend some more time on this later, but the other way you might find it hallucinate is that it doesn't have an answer, right? It can't find an answer. You're asking for something it hasn't seen before. And so what it does is it does like every little kid would do. It makes it up, right? It just says, well, here's something that sounds good, so I'll put that out here. So those are the two things that it will do. And when it starts trying to hallucinate, you want to be careful on your tokens, and you want to be careful when it hallucinates. You want to validate that the information it gives you is correct. I can tell you, I know I've only got 14 minutes now, but there's a story. There's a U.S. attorney who was almost kicked out, disbarred, right? Not allowed to be an attorney anymore, because his paralegal created a document for him called a brief, and the brief cited cases that the AI had made up, right? And he didn't check it, she didn't check it, and he almost got disbarred for it. You don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you're double checking the references. You want to make sure you're asking, ask it. Can you cite these? You mentioned these cases. Can you cite them for me? Can you validate that they're there? And actually go do it yourself. What's next? And so here's an example, right, of the way it kind of works. I chose this. I hope this is appropriate. I chose the Liberia National Anthem, and I blocked out the words, right? I blocked out some words. So when you look at this, the first X is there. What word is that? What word did I take out? Somebody can take themselves off mute and can say the word. Hello?
All hail.
Yeah, it's all hail Liberia, right? How did you know it was Liberia?
Because we know the anthem.
You know the anthem, right? You also, if you're looking at it, you can see Liberia, and you can see Liberia, you can see the X's right below it.
Yeah.
You know the anthem, right? So while you're off mute, what's the next one? The three Y's. Green bee. What's the next word? Her name, right? And mighty be her powers, right? So when you look, and I've put it over here on the right, this is what when we talk about tokens and we talk about how it understands what it's doing pattern matching, right? If we said all hail, we say all hail Liberia, hail, and then we say all hail and stop, it's going to want to say Liberia, hail, right? So it's a pattern matcher. It uses that to be able, that's how it knows what it's, and how it understands what we're trying to do. I wanted to use this example so that you understand that it does the same thing with voice. It does the same thing with images. It looks for those patterns, and those patterns are the tokens, right? So the XXX up here would be a token. And so it would have it'd have Liberia, and there would be one for hail, right? There'd be another one for all. And then there's a token that's probably called all hail Liberia, hail, right? So it's going to, when it sees all hail and then the hail at the end and the XXX, it's going to fill in the gap. Okay. That's pattern matching. That's how this works. That's how the AI knows or guesses what it is that it's going to do, right? What its answer should be. There's augmented versus artificial intelligence. You can read it. Augmented is more of where we're at today. So augmented intelligence is, I'm going to use AI to augment me. I'm going to use AI to write an email, but I'm going to give it the tone. I'm going to give it the context. I'm going to tell it what message it should have. I'm going to tell it how long it should be. I'm going to tell it, should it to be sure to humanize its output so it doesn't sound like a AI. I'm going to tell it different things to give it some context so that it writes it. Artificial intelligence would be where the email comes in and it just spits it out. There's no human intervention. So here's the conclusion. We're at the end of my slides for this step. So you've got AI is going to be a revolution. It's a game changer. It's going to be the way of the future. There's no doubt about it. What's empowering and exciting to me is that you're getting involved now. You're not waiting until it takes over education. You're getting involved now so that you can have some influence and control over how you and your students use AI, right? And as you learn, because you're already doing this training, now you're prepared to go forward. You're prepared to go on. And so I'm excited about the fact that you're taking this away and that you're participating in this. You should be able now to talk about AI, machine learning, deep learning, augmented intelligence. And then the next step is going to be where we talk about encouraging your learning and integration of AI into daily tasks. I've got a couple more things. So let's talk about your capstone project in the 7 minutes I got left.
Chris.
Yes.
Before you go with your assignment, I'm part of the class too. So the president of the university is part of this class. And currently I'm in Accra, Ghana, taking the class.
Mm-hmm.
I want to encourage everyone who is on this platform, my colleagues, my students, for us to make the best use of this opportunity. I want to thank InnoPower, Emil. We pay $0 for this. Chris and others who are on this call and who's teaching us, we give them $0. And I want us to be encouraged to fully participate in this class because it is important for Liberia, it's important individually for you and also for the university. And I just want to encourage all of us to, on a Saturday, I'm on the class. I'm in Accra, Ghana on a different business. I'm here. And please, let's be diligent to participate in the class and to complete this course. At the end of the day, you'll be a better human being. We all will be a better human being from this instruction that we receive. Emil and his team, I want to say thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. The conversation has turned into reality. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get through the cap. So hopefully you can read this. Your capstone in a nutshell is going to be, I want you to build something. Okay, I don't want you, not theoretical, not, something that, rather than me giving you something that I want you to do, I want you to think about something you want to build with AI. Could be a book, could be an e-learning course. Maybe you want to write a grant, a marketing plan, a learning path. Maybe you want to write a movie, right? Whatever it is, come up with something and have it be something complex, something that you want and you're passionate about. In the past, I've had my teammates that are on the call, I had them all write books. And we actually have got a number of those folks who've actually published their books on Amazon. They had the comment, man, I always wanted to get around to this. I always wanted to write a book. This could be your opportunity. This could be your opportunity to write your movie script or to do a coloring book for your kids or to document your family's history, which I had another student that has done that. Come up with some idea. You're going to take it from idea and we're going to take it to the end product, right? You're going to learn how to build it, ideate it, right? Think about it, organize it, build it, review it, finalize it, and illustrate it. Okay. So the challenge for you is in your homework, one of your homework things is, what are you going to build? What are you going to do for this class? The second part of this is that as part of your homework, once you get your idea, I want you to come up with a catchy title or a catchy phrase or a description of it. And then I want you to create an outline, 2 levels deep or 3 levels deep. And I want you to use AI to do that. I've invited you all to innopower.ai, which is our studio that Emil and I have been creating now for 5 months. And in there, you're going to find all the various LLM models, large language models, are available to you. Pick one and then go in and just start by asking a question. I've got an idea. I want to write a book about the history of ancient African warrior queens. And start with your idea, right? And then go and then bounce it around. It's the best brainstorming tool in the world. You can use it. Then once you get your idea, ask it for a title if you're going to write a book. Or ask it for a title if you're going to write a strategy plan, right? And then ask it to help you write an outline. When it gives you an output, revise it. Most of us have been doing AI, so you can use your own AI tool if you want that you're already using, or you can use this one. It's free. You've got access to it. There's an image maker generator in there as well. There are a couple of simulations in there for those of you that are educators, professors. There's a couple simulators in there where you could go and talk to a famous African American. You could go talk to, I think I picked 13 famous Nigerians that you could go talk to, just to
I'm
learn.
talking about the Moore.
Sorry?
I said I'm talking to Bati Moore. I think we tried it when I was at Power the other day.
Okay.
He's a poet, a dead poet. Yeah.
Huh. So use it.
Librarian poet, yeah.
Yeah. So use the InnoPower.ai. Take advantage of this, right? Use it. Use it to play around with the different models if you're familiar. If you got one that you've used, try the different one,
Okay.
right? Try Gemini, try whatever. Try to create an image. Play around with it. It's there for you to use. If you have any issues, you can just email me. With that, be prepared when you come back on Tuesday. We'll have a link for you to be able to submit your homework. And then we'll go through, my teammates and I will go through it, and we will render some opinions back to you. What kind of questions do you have? Emil, I think that it's your time.
Yes, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Like President Manja just said, we've had President Manja in Indianapolis twice, so he's an Indianapolis native right now. So just for everybody here, my name is Emil Ekio. I am Nigerian. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm from the Delta area of Nigeria, and
Tell your story. That everybody know about you.
yeah. So I came to the U.S. I went to Nigeria, went to really good schools in Lagos. Left Nigeria when I was 15 to come to the U.S. and just to pursue opportunities. Came to the U.S., stayed with a family in Daytona Beach, Florida, and then got exposed to sports.
Oh,
When I was 15, I came out going into my junior year in high school. Never played American football. Played 1 year of American football. Got a scholarship to University of Central Florida. Ended up playing 4 years. Got into the professional leagues. Got 6 years in. Retired. My wife is from Indianapolis, so moved to Indianapolis. I've been here about 20 something years now. Raised my family here, and ended up going. Obviously, we all know, if you know Nigerians, we all love and are proud of where we're from. But we have a lot of work to do, right? And a lot of work we've done here in Indianapolis over the years is, one, how do we prepare people to compete for opportunity, right? How do we prepare people to not necessarily end up where they started? So whatever conditions you're born into doesn't mean that's where you remain. But how do you develop people and prepare people to get out of their current situations? Unfortunately for us, if it's Liberia, if it's Nigeria, if it's here in the US, in Black communities, we haven't created a playbook on how that happens. But we feel like technology helps us accelerate a lot of things. I'm a big fan of Liberia. Um, to tell you a funny story before I met Dr. Manjay, 3 years ago, Alex Cummins was running for president of Liberia. Ended up working with Mr. Cummins and his team. We hosted him here in the US several times. Obviously, I was honored to meet Mr. Cummins, head of president of Coca-Cola Africa all of those years, just a very accomplished man. and learned so much about Liberia. Before then, I'd learned so much about Liberia, the history of Liberia. Um, just a big fan of a lot of things that have happened there, but also see that there's so much opportunity in Liberia because of just how intelligent the population of Liberia is. So as I talked to Dr. Manji, as we met, and again, it was divine intervention the way we met, and as we started talking about the possibilities of what can happen there, what we can do, how we can support, focused on Tubman University being a hub, and under his leadership, how can we do things to, one, prepare students to compete in the global economy? What does that look like? What kind of skills do you give them? How do we do innovative things to make that happen? So one of the things that we said that we want to do is be able to give students at Tubman University opportunities for internships, paid internships. While you're at university at Tubman University, being able to give the students projects that they can work on and we pay them. But this projects and this paid internships allows the students to work with US-based entities as a way of exposing them so they don't have to travel out of Liberia. We know that you have some students right now at Tubman that receive scholarships. I think you had 2 or 3 just recently that got scholarships to come to the US. But that's not typical when you just have 2 or 3 every year or every 2 years. How do we expose all of the students who are serious, who want to, with those kind of opportunities to work with US businesses and nonprofits and organizations? But that way, that's preparing them to compete. One of the things Dr. Manji and I looked at was what the Indians did in India. For years and decades, young Indian students did call centers, they did remote work while they were at university. And that, remote work they did, working with American companies, prepared them and exposed them with working with Americans and working with Western companies. As they moved up out of college and they got their masters and PhDs and went into the workforce, they were more prepared. So all of these things are things that we think we can do some of those things at Tubman, but we wanted to start out with something that's foundational. And the prompt engineering was what we looked at and saying, Dr. Gutta was here as well. We went through a 2-hour executive course right here in downtown Indianapolis on a cold morning. And we went through that and they both went through it and said, wow, we got to bring this back to the school. So here we are after much conversation, after many trips to Indianapolis. Um, Here we are here in doing this now, and I'm so appreciative for Chris, for the rest of the team. Chris, can you let me share my screen really quick? For the rest of the team who have volunteered their time to make this happen. What I want to share with you just some of the things that we've looked at with with Liberia. So when we were working with Alex Cummins and trying to figure out some things that we wanted to do there, one of the areas that we looked at, if you can see my screen, I'll do this here, was like unbelievable Liberians doing wonderful things. The young man that we have on the screen here um, played basketball, was ranked like the #1 basketball player in the U.S. And he's from Liberia. Um, there are other Liberians like Alfonso Davis. I don't know if you see my screen, that we looked at just to show Liberia and the talent. Antoinette Monsayer, Deputy Managing Director of IMF. Essence, Richelieu Dennis, Rhoda Weeks Brown, just amazing Liberians doing great work that we looked at and said, you know what, when Liberians are given the opportunity, when they're trained and prepared, they compete at a high level. So one thing I say about myself coming to the US, right? Like I said, I'd never played football before, never played, but I had the skills. I was tall, I could run, I could jump. But once I got plugged into this infrastructure that trained me, 5 years after leaving Nigeria, I was in the professional leagues. And I say that because that's the same thing with a lot of Africans. If we give young Africans the skills, the resources, and the available training, it's amazing to see how much the Africans excel and how fast it happens. So in this kind of situation, that's our whole intent. We're starting with the very basics of prompt engineering. And some of the things that Dr. Manje and Dr. Guter have talked about doing, I'm not even going to repeat here, because as we talked about doing, I'm not sure I believe I'll do it.
Please don't repeat. Please don't repeat it.
But you know,
just leave it alone. We'll deal with it.
but I'm excited to jump in full speed and do it. I know Chris and I have some things we've been working on to share. So we're excited to develop a relationship, learn from you. There's going to be a lot of things that we do together. But this is just the initial phase of one, for us saying out for ourselves, are the students, are they serious? Are they ready? Are they hungry? Are they excited? Are they intrigued? Because I've seen it happen before. People want something more than other people do. So we just want to learn that the students at Tubman are just as eager, are just as hungry to compete at a high level. And I keep using the word compete, right? At a very high level, as we are hungry and eager to try to bring the resources to the students. So thank you so much for this morning. It's a Saturday. I think we have 2 more Saturdays and we're done. But this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful learning lesson for all of us. But it's just the start of a relationship that we think for you students is the start of a lifetime relationship, I hope. And for the professors and the faculty there, it's start of a relationship to help support your work at Tubman University so you can keep doing what you've been doing at an even higher level. So I appreciate this so much. Thank you, Dr. Guter, for all the work leading up to this, and thank you so much, President, for your vision, for your hard work, and for getting us to this point that we can get started.
Hey, man, you're a great guy, man. Don't worry about it. You're a great human being. Humble, Chris. I really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to the days ahead. Dr. Quata, thank you so much again. And this is a dream. I can't imagine that it started. And to Donald Cassell and others who have been involved in the beginning stage of this, we appreciate you. And my colleagues, let's take advantage of this. This is the first school in the country who is doing this. And Chris, you are leading us in the training. And Emel, you crazy. That program money, don't mind you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to Yinka Osho. Yinka is logging in from Canada. She's also into professional development and Nigerian.
Okay.
Level professional. So I appreciate her logging in on a Saturday morning. She didn't know I'll be pulling her in, but there'll be more people we pulled into this.
Thank you, Emil.
We are grateful. Please appreciate our gratitude to you all.
Well, thank you, everybody. We're gonna just one quick note, and then I'll shut up, and you can go about enjoying your weekend. I will be sending out the slides and a link to the recording and a link to the summary for you so that you can have those and review them as you need to. And with
Thanks,
that,
Chris.
we'll go ahead and wrap up the call.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, have a nice weekend too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.